We should be live in a couple seconds. Almost there, Beena. Almost there. Almost there. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Not. Wow, we should be live. Wow, I'm still not seeing the screen,
Yes.
but I'm guessing that
Yes.
we're live now.
Yeah, this meeting is being live now. It's live streaming. Hello,
Okay.
hello,
I mean,
and
I'm not seeing
everyone.
it. I'm not seeing it. All right.
Okay, no problem.
One moment before you start. I want to make sure Norma's here at the start. I want to see if I can get this to be. Okay. Are you here, Norma? Are you here? Are you here? Norma usually misses the introductions, I think. That's just the way lives are. There's no way to really, unless you like sitting on it and you refresh. But I said go to featured. Oh, I haven't marked it yet and featured. All right, let's try this. Sorry, Beena. I want to just experiment a little bit here. One moment. Oh, everything is super molasses today. Slow. All right, never mind. You share, Beena. You share. I'll do my thing.
Today is the capital R reading day, and as usual, I'm going to practice some self-expression and sharing my thoughts just to get more awareness, to get more preciseness in my thoughts, to learn more articulation. So many intents behind that, but the main basic intent, the foundational intent, is to learn and grow. Today, I just want Syl to continue and just share something about how we outgrow people around us and how the interaction changes completely. And we assume that we have done something wrong, but they have done something wrong. But actually, it's just an outgrowing process. I want Syl to please explain a bit more to this.
Yeah. When you say outgrowing process, what do you mean? I think you can explain this as well
Like
as me.
because we are learning and growing continuously, at least when people have intent to learn and grow in every situation, like every moment, when you are keen and intended to learn, to extract value and learn and grow from that, then your progress become exponential by the time it's growing, compounding. And some people who are so profound for you, who were so profound for you, so magical, so much moreness into them. Get very much behind, and then you realize that it was not the case.
This outgrowing, it's very connected to how we perceive reality. Yeah. When we were younger, we thought we were perceiving reality. We never questioned that we were perceiving reality. But what we were in actuality perceiving was simply a portion, a fragment, a part, a very small part of reality. Yes. And even more so, what we were perceiving was a description of reality. Did Beena drop off now? Oh dear. All right. Well, I'll come back to it with Beena. But is that Beena coming back? Oh. Wow, it's a strange day today. It's a very strange day today, by the way. Everything is just molasses here by way of the internet, like super slow. Beena was disconnected earlier. It's just a difficult day. All right. So when we're younger, we are perceiving a distortion of reality. And as we get older, we realize, oh man, I was so ignorant. I was so naive, etc., right? And we realize how we misperceive the world, right? And now, in that misperception of the world, this of course includes misperception of people. Yeah. And when we're young, we can interact with people out of innocence and purity and naivety, right? And not see the their their other sides. They only show one side, and there's more, right? And many people only show one side now. Some do it, obviously, like in BMNs, and they are doing this to hide the not niceness inside, the hollowness inside, the insecurity, etc. Right? Other people are inappropriately, excessively modest because they've got so much goodness and niceness. They hide this because it's perceived in the superiority paradigm world. Niceness is perceived as a weakness. It's a terrible, terrible thing that this is so, but that's the reality. Now, when we are interacting, especially when we're young, because this is I'm on the topic of outgrowing. When we're young, we are interacting with these very limited sides of ourselves, and sometimes with particular sides of others, or we may be even interacting with the full side of them. But for instance, let's say, a toddler, right? When I'm a toddler and I'm interacting with other toddlers are just fantastic. I'm thrilled to be interacting with them. I can spend all day with them. But as an adult, unless the toddler is my own child, and even then, I have no interest in hanging out with toddlers. This is not where I'm going to choose to spend my time if I can help it. Now, if you really like children and you have that mindset, but man, this kind of conversation we're having now, I can't have this with a toddler. This is important to me, right? And in other words, that a toddler becomes very limited. I've outgrown toddlers. Now, unfortunately, some people stay toddlers all their lives. They never grow up. I mean, we see this in some famous politicians, that they essentially have that same young child mindset, very spoilt, very self-indulgent, willing to believe all sorts of nonsense, lie. Toddlers have no morality sometimes, right? And they'll just lie with abandon until they learn that, hey, lying is not cool, right? And sometimes they don't learn, of course, and they just stay there. But the deeper point that I'm making is that when we outgrow, sometimes people just stay where they are and they don't grow, they don't learn, and they just kind of, a bit of a trial to interact with, not particularly fun to interact with. Yes. And this is very important to understand that it doesn't mean there's something wrong with them or bad. It may be, but hey, I'm just different. I'm in a different space. All right. So you had a best friend at school. And when you were at school, you were all into talking about the girls or into talking about the boys and blah and blah. But then when you grow up and maybe you got married and you start develop other stuff, that's not the important thing in your life anymore. But what if your friend is still there? It happens. It's like, seriously, come on now, and and you sort of try and you make an effort. No, all right, well then you move on, right? That's just how life is. And we can't feel bad about it. We have to be appropriate. There's nothing that says we have to stay and stick with people, or doesn't mean you unfriend them necessarily. You're just not spending all your time with them. And likewise, if they have any sense, they'll realize this too. Now, I want to make a big point here and a distinction. I'm not talking about where someone has in their interest and their likes. But when we outgrow people, it's more in what's important to them that becomes the difference, right? I know wonderful, wonderful people who, by their own description, say, I'm a simple person. Just because you're simple doesn't not make you interesting, doesn't make you fun to be with, doesn't make you a joy to be with. Yes. Goodness, you don't get tired of goodness, right? Nonsense, yes, but not goodness. So when we outgrow people, it's not because they are, just a simple person doing simple things. There's nothing wrong with simple. Simple is profound. You have to understand this. Simple is profound. So it's got nothing to do with complexity in that sense, like people think. No, when we outgrow people, it's because what's important to us has diverged from what's important to them. When goodness is important, there's no getting tired of anybody. There's no outgrowing them. There's no, because goodness is always wonderful, always magical, always more. Yeah. And never get tired of goodness. Yeah. It's like a tree. You don't get tired of trees. You enjoy them every single day. When we start to understand that some people have natural treeness to them, can't get tired of them. You just love them every day. Doesn't matter. You don't care whether the trees are, doing this, doing that, knows this, knows that, has these abilities, that abilities. No, it's totally irrelevant, right? So when we understand that true interactivity, true love is based on what's important, our qualities, our character, in other words, and goodness and the application of goodness, then we start to shift. Then outgrowing doesn't become an issue. But when people get stuck in nonsense and BS and indulgences, that's when we outgrow them. Yeah. If they focus and zoom in on their moreness, some people were always there. And you can't outgrow such people because goodness always is worth connecting to. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope so. Here we go. Dang, that took like, I don't know, 5 minutes just to share it to my profile. That was pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Is that you, Beena? Okay.
Yes, my network room. So
I figured. All right. So I explained the whole thing about outgrowing, and now I'll have to.
I,
No, it's
I will
great.
listen to it.
No. I'll just do a recap. See, because I was
Okay.
working through it as I went, and to do a recap is very useful and very important here. First of all, though, can you see the comments? I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still trying to share it to my timeline and
Let
to the
me go there.
page. I just want to make sure Norma's here. Hello, Norma. Hello. I'm hoping and assuming you are here. As always, it is a true joy and a pleasure that you are here. And I hope my explanation made sense. And I want to recap now. On this point of outgrowing, the key issue is when we grow into moreness, we connect more and more to what's important to us, which is our goodness. Yes? And we get more and more connected to our goodness. However, not everybody moves towards connecting to their goodness. Some get caught up in nonsense and BS and status and ego and all sorts of other things. And there's where the divergence comes from. That the difference lies in what is important to us. Yes? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
fine. And that's where the divergence comes from. Now, when we outgrow people, doesn't necessarily mean, I've developed this stuff and I'm into this and they're not into it. No, it's got nothing to do with likes. It's got to do with the divergence of what's important. When goodness is the primary thing and issue that is important to us, there's no diverging from that. Yes? None. Because goodness never gets old. We don't get tired of goodness. Like trees. Do you stop loving a tree? Do you outgrow a tree? No. Yeah,
No. No.
exactly. Exactly. And this is something that many good people who, and I was saying about simple. I have tons of friends who by their own description say, I'm just a simple person. I'm not into all this. I'm just a simple, good person. Well, they don't say good, they just say I'm simple. But by implication, they mean good. Yeah. Simplicity is a profoundness. It's not a negative. not in the least, right? But when we understand this, right, and unfortunately, we might understand it, but others don't. Yeah, and they get caught up in this idea that their simplicity is, less desirable, less wonderful, whatever. No, no. What we want, the more important and the more complex we get, the more we are connecting to goodness, to moreness, which is just goodness, right? And it's very, very, very powerful to understand this and to be aware of it. So when we outgrow people, we're not outgrowing them because we're getting specific interests and likes and all of this stuff. We outgrow them because they are not connecting to their moreness. Yeah. Where's my live? I can't see the live in group here. Oh, this is the weirdest thing. Are we live in group?
Yes, I'm just looking for it. It's a blank for me also.
It was there. I shared it. It says we're live on Zoom, so we must be. All right. It's just it's a weird day. So Norma, I hope you're here and you are commenting. We'll catch up. Everything is just slow on our side. Yeah, just delayed. All right. Very strange. But does that make sense, right? We outgrow because people aren't connecting to what's important to them, and they operate from
But
bubbles.
yes, but maybe they are actually doing and following what is important to them,
Wow.
and awareness is not on priority, and
Well,
learning and is
right,
not on
right,
priority.
right. That's what I'm saying. There's a divergence in what's important. When truth and honesty and accuracy and moreness and goodness, when those are important, then there's no growing apart, no matter how well, difference we may, how differently we may connect to that, right? But when artificiality and appearance, status, obfuscation, deception, all of these things, BS, all of that, when that becomes important, of course there's going to be a divergence, and of course you're going to outgrow them because they're staying in that child toddler nonsense bubble, right? So yeah, so very important to be aware. I'm just saying the outgrowing, the divergence comes because there's a difference in what's important. It's not that we develop importance and they don't. No, it's the difference in importance that leads to well, outgrowing. I'd rather use the word divergence than outgrowing, because outgrowing implies some kind of superiority, and I'm not implying that at all. I'm simply saying divergence. Yeah. Well, I do feel if you're going to be involved in lying and BS and stuff, all right. But other people, they're not necessarily involved in lying and BS, but they may be involved in things which are kind of a dead end, like status and approval, right? They're not necessarily deceptive in getting there. They might be very honest in trying to get there, but still a dead end. Okay, that's important to you. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily. Well, each to his own. But there's a divergence. Yes. And the
Mm.
divergence is the issue, right? Divergence in what's important. This is what leads to outgrowing. Now, for me, I'd rather use the term divergence rather than outgrowing. All right, some people, they do grow and there can still be divergence, but typically when there is this divergence, typically, right? That's why I want to make the distinction here and rather use the term divergence than outgrowing. Typically, when there's divergence, we have outgrown the person. In other words, we've matured, we've become more sober. We're not involved in the childish nonsense that we were involved in as young people or children, right? Or previous, earlier. And we've learned, we've grown, but they haven't. And then we get outgrowing and divergence happening both at the same time, right? So this is an important distinction to be aware of. Make sense, Beena? When you think of divergence rather than outgrowing. Yes. All
Mm,
right.
okay, I still want to explore it more because this is
Go ahead.
something I experienced that. Yes, I understand from your perspective now that that saying outgrowing, it seems like it is coming from from an ego side, but
But
I don't
it's
feel
not,
that.
it's just
Yes,
accurate. Right.
I don't feel that it is of ego. It is just
Yeah,
pure
right,
understanding that
right,
sometimes
right,
you
right.
do that, and it's also it is to acknowledge. It's necessary and it is important to
Correct,
acknowledge
correct,
our own
correct.
process of learning and growing, and someone else's also, not
Right.
only
But
ours. But
we can
whenever the
have
process is,
divergence without
I just,
outgrowing.
yes, I
All right.
understand your point.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah, yeah.
negating it. I'm just
No,
saying
I know
that
you are.
that outgrowing is also is a process, is a perk or the result or the fruit of the process.
Mm,
Because when someone is not working on themselves, their things are different, and they are indulging to something else, and you are indulging to
exactly,
learning and growing and awareness, then it's a
exactly.
diversion. But the fruit is again, it's that you are getting exponential growth, and of course in that perspective other people are not doing that, because now what
Oh,
you can understand easily, what you can look for, what we actually look for in the things and situations to do and how to get value, this is not uh, their desire, their wishes and their goals into any perspective,
right,
any aspect of their life,
right, right.
then of course it is going to be an exponential difference
Yeah,
between the
yeah,
tremendous difference
yeah.
between you or the other person, or if they are doing and
Correct,
you are not doing, it
correct,
is going to be the
correct.
same for that. So it's not about the person, it's about the process. If someone is not doing, if someone is in a completely different niche, and you are in a completely
Yeah,
different league, then it is going to be a difference, of course it is obvious. So for me, yes, the diversion, but also that people who, like, okay, we were seedlings and we started the same thing, okay, almost. I'm just
yeah,
using this term. Okay, if we were in that stage at some point in life, two people were on the same level or same dimension or same reality or
yeah.
same awareness. They started from there. The
Right.
expectations was that it is going to be more. That was
Yes,
like duh. For
yes.
someone, it was like duh that it is going to be more. Right now I'm here and I'm going to, because I'm keen to learn and I'm growing and even though the picture was not clear, what else will come? But that was definitely something in the mind that it is not going to be. But for
Yes.
someone who is so content in their awareness, whatever they had, that I am
Yeah.
the one now and I am aware and I know it
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
then of course they are closing that chapter, that the mourners door on them, that okay,
Yes.
whatever I
Exactly.
have enough.
Exactly.
So then of course the person who is keen, who is eager to learn and grow,
Yeah. Yeah.
that person
Yeah.
is going to outgrow them, that okay, yes,
Yep. Yep.
the difference is going to be very huge.
Yeah.
So it is something, yes, the diversion, but also the process. Because why I'm saying that, because this is something I have seen in, not in my personally in my life, but in
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
When two people are not on the same page. I was not aware at
Exactly.
that time when I
Exactly.
used to observe my uncles and aunties in my surroundings, that why men are in a completely different zone when they are like, okay,
Get left
20
behind
years
so often. Yeah.
20 or 25 years of marriage, and then
Yeah.
suddenly that person who has been doing his business or doing his job, and now he's retired, but his choices are completely different. He is still watching newspaper or news and what reading newspapers
Habit.
and discussing with
Habit.
friends and other things. Yes, and uh, they are able to adopt new hobbies very easily, as compared to the woman who has been just continuously focusing on okay
Personal
on the family
growth.
duties. No, but all, like in the family politics and
Oh,
all
oh,
that,
oh, all
they
right.
are so stubborn, so
Huh.
like behave like a BM and completely like
Oh,
narcissist.
oh.
Yes, so now it's my turn and I'm going to teach you a lesson. And they are not open to learn and grow. New habits are completely no for them. And men are so refined in their, get so refined in their whole demeanor, or their whole personality, and they are open. They love to explore new things. They want to travel. They want to know more about what's happening in other people's life, like, okay, their children, grandchildren's, or their cousins, whatever. And they are like, they love to share their experiences also, because throughout their professional life they have been continuously learning. Very less ego was, okay, in most cases in my surrounding, it was not involved, and they had a chance to continuously update themselves. But when they come back home and start spending time again with that person, their better half, they realize that it's a huge
The
difference in
other
them.
half, not the better half, but all right.
Yes, the other half. Okay. And they realize that it's a very huge difference now. And I personally saw them, like, okay, and observed that they are like completely strangers to each other now, and trying to adjust, because now it's they cannot do anything about it. So I have seen many times this difference, how it plays a huge role uh, in people's life and relationships. I have just seen them and observed this process of outgrowing or diversion with my friends who were really, really something. I was looking up to them, like, okay, yes, they teach me a lot of things. Like, okay, they were telling me that how to behave, how to live life, and all these things. And now when I'm trying to communicate with them, they are they are not what I was assuming. Or maybe I was assuming right at that time they were like really, and now they just still there, or maybe even behind who they were before.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling to connect with them, and
Yeah.
it's very draining. It's really very draining to try to even communicate,
Oh
because
yeah.
it's like,
Oh yeah.
because they can you're not only your vocabulary is different, your whole way of being is different, and you can see that.
Yes. Yes.
even
Yes.
though
Yes.
even though me being nostalgic, I miss my friends, and I really
Yeah.
want to go back and just connect with them with the same thing, with the same enthusiasm, with the same energy, but I cannot, because for me
Yeah.
those people are not those friends anymore,
Yeah.
and I am not that person anymore. Even though my love and my care and my respect is still same for them, but of course my awareness of them is not same. I know
Yeah.
them much differently than
Yeah.
before.
Now there's a
So no matter
complication.
how nostalgic I will be, I cannot
Mhm.
connect in the same manner, because they are not like
Yeah.
really not there.
Yeah. And there's a complication.
It's a complication. I'm
Well,
missing them. I'm missing.
but there's more complication here. In
Yes.
this, that I spoke about divergence.
Yes.
Divergence can lead to a profound difference, or or significant difference. In most cases, it's significant enough to say, well, you know what, we're not really in the same space, in the same world, we're not into the same things. And most people are okay with that and they move on, right? And they don't worry about it. I mean, if friends come and friends go, it's just the nature of the world, right? However, however, big however, what happens when one person, or two howevers, when one person understands this and the other doesn't, then you get the problem, right? Like in your case
Oh
now,
yes.
right? Furthermore, what happens when one person is in a different paradigm to the other, which is also what's happened.
Mm.
At some point in your life, you were not fully into the superiority paradigm, but you did subscribe to certain things like status and ambition and getting a good job and a career and all of this stuff, right?
Yes.
Those were important. Now,
Yes.
They weren't important in the same way as somebody who's fully into the hierarchy dominance. I've got to be special. I've got to be better than everyone else, and superior and all this stuff, right? Different motivation.
Yes.
Yours was motivated by the goodness of should. Theirs motivated by hierarchy and status and insecurity, etc. Yeah? You've realized that, moved on. You're in a different paradigm. Now you're in a whole different world. And because there's a reconnection after some time, the gap is now very clearly obvious. So now you sit with a problem in terms of how
Yes.
to communicate this. Before we go there, I just want to say Norma can't make it today. Say
Oh,
hello,
miss
Lindsay.
you,
Hello,
Norma.
Lindsay. Hello,
Miss you,
Lindsay.
Norma.
Yes, we do miss you, Norma. We always miss you. You are just a joy to have here. And a comfort. I told Norma it's very comforting when she's here, right, Beena? So
Yes.
hello, Lindsay. Hello, Lindsay.
Hi,
Uh,
Lindsay.
I suspect this topic of divergence and I want to use the word divergence rather than outgrowing. But we do sometimes the divergence comes from outgrowing. Sometimes we just follow different paths, right? But typically the divergence comes where we are not connecting and we're not on the same page anymore as somebody who we used to be close with. In other words, we're not close or we don't necessarily want to be close. I suspect this topic is one that Lindsay is familiar with. Yeah, Lindsay? Lindsay says hello. She's waving. Brilliant.
Hello.
Keen to hear your comments on this, Lindsay. Keen to hear your comments. Now, Beena, how do you resolve this? The fact that we understand what's the issue, divergence. Yes, you enjoy, there's a hankering for the past, but an understanding.
Okay. My
Exactly.
people pleaser, my past people pleaser side would say
Wow.
no. Oh no, they are my friend. Okay, I need to care and I need to just pull myself down. Okay, I need to hide myself.
Wow.
I just need to adjust with them because they were the one who were telling me things in the past. They were the one I was looking up like, okay, yes, he just or she just told me this, and okay, that's so profound.
Yeah.
They might be just completely forgetting all those things. They already forgotten about all those things. But for me, I never deliberately, I never forget anything which gives me value. And you guys can of course see this in my whole sharing here. Years ago, if Syl says something, I still remember that story because this is important for me. This is
Yeah.
this because I got so much value out of it. Once you get out value out of something and you deliberately acknowledge that, you can never forget that unless or until something physically, God forbid, will happen to you. Otherwise, there are very slim chances that you will forget about that completely.
Mm.
You might forget some details, okay, which is okay, no problem. But the crux of it, the real essence of it, no, never. This
Yeah.
is personal experience for me, and I'm living by this.
Yeah.
So now they just, it's not only that, okay, my people pleaser side would be like, okay, yes, I need to, and I would jump into that, and I would like really put myself down for that and not share anything, and then just try to understand and okay, adjust and all these things, and just give them sympathy they are not asking for. I would
Yeah.
give them attention which they might need and asking for, but the sympathy would be volunteer from my side. Okay, yes,
Mm.
in my mind I would be doing some favor to them, which is again a very egoistic thing,
Yeah.
but in a roundabout way. That would be my people pleaser side, that I am responsible. I am the one who's going to sacrifice for them, who's just make them feel good about themselves and all these
Yeah.
blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
which I'm not doing anymore. So I was yesterday, when I had a communication, I had an interaction with my old friend, and when they start doing things, I realize and I remember that this was been from very beginning. They were like this,
Yeah.
and now the desperation to connect, because they can sense that I'm not that person anymore. So the desperation to
Yeah.
just pull me back to that same situation where they
Ah,
had that upper hand, and they were actually giving me, which is I don't mind, because of course when we learn from someone, it's not about ego or giving them a pedestal, but when someone is sharing, you are going to be at the receiving end if you choose to. And
yeah,
I was
yeah,
at the
yeah,
receiving end. No hesitation. I'm proudly saying that I received a lot, because
yeah.
this is my ability, this is my receptivity. I received a lot, and I still receive, and I love to receive more and more and more. I have no problem with that.
Mm,
But their ego is not feeling good about this. So they just want to
yeah.
connect with that same person. Also, time factor and the gaps in communication counts and plays a major role in this. When people are together, they simply, if they are very bright chances, they will not notice the full moreness of you, because it's gradual, it's happening bit
Right.
by bit,
And they don't want
and they
to
get
notice it in the case of this particular.
and they get accustomed
Yeah,
and used to this. But when people are not in communication with you, not interacting, they don't know who you are now and what you were doing. And then after a few years, when they meet you, it's a big shock for them. And of course, so you can be also, I
yeah,
can be also in the same situation when my friends would be learning. I don't know, many of them must be, I assume, and they have been doing. When they will come, I would be like, wow, wow, it's like a completely different person now. And I would love to connect again. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I didn't get a chance right now. Maybe some will come, and I would love to be really connect with them again. But this is what happened because it's a sudden shock. They are still in the same mindset, then they will come and they will just start giving you. But when they see that, okay, the things they were giving is still valuable, but not needed, not appropriate anymore.
yes,
Sometimes things are
yes,
valuable, but not appropriate.
yes. But the bigger issue here is you were paying a price back then for the
Yes,
benefits you were getting, unaware of the price you were paying. Now you're aware of the benefits, but you are completely and utterly unwilling to pay the price for those values, those benefits, that learning. Yeah.
yes.
I hope in our relationship, I learn every day, but there's no price to it. It's just a joy. I hope the same applies for you. Yes.
Of course, it's like duh.
No, I'm just, I don't ever want to assume. Will you read Lindsay's comment, please, Beena?
Okay, I tried to go because it was not available to me before.
Oh,
Okay. We sometimes move away from those people in distance as well.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And physically, we move away. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, it is appropriate to do that
It's
because
very appropriate to do that. Very.
yes,
And
people
useful.
in self-help courses and books, they say, okay, just go in isolation, spend your 6 months or a year with yourself and work on yourself, and then just shock people. Okay, they say that in a very egoistic way. But
Yeah,
actually, isolation and at least separation from those people uh, who who are in that mindset is actually very, very, very crucial for your growth and learning and growth.
yeah,
Because when you are in competitive company who is just continuously comparing yourself or you or themselves, very slim chances that you can actually learn and grow.
yeah,
Competitiveness in this regard is horrible, horrible.
yeah,
Whatever I have learned or I'm learning, and whatever you have learned and you are learning has nothing to do with me or you. No, we all have our own pace, we all have our own journey, we all have our own path. It's there is no comparison, no competition involved in this. If
Exactly.
people,
Exactly.
when we were into that mindset where ambition was the biggest force to excel in life, that was everything. Every achievement was driven by ambition and material world, which is of course not bad, which is absolutely not bad at all. We need to actually do that, because this is
Yeah.
how you make this world a better place. If every good person, good mind and heart person will choose to not involve into big corporations, into other bureaucracy, and how you are going to change the system. You don't need to do anything, just be there and be yourself. This is how the world is going to change. I personally feel that good people needs to be really in position where they can influence some sort of, like, okay, good things in other people's life. They need to be in a decision making positions.
Yeah.
But somehow we get very, very corrupted idea of spirituality that, oh, if you are a good human being, you must disconnect from everything. No, I personally feel that the true spirituality is to just be in that imperfect world, be in that position where you can actually do and make some good changes, some positive changes in this world. You need to be in that influential position. I would love to see an impeccable person in politics. I would love to see impeccable people in bureaucracy. I would love to see impeccable
Yeah.
doctors, lawyers, judges, players, in every aspect of life. I would love
Yeah.
to see. I really want impeccable people to be in those things also. They don't need to just sit on Himalaya and then just meditate for 40 years. No, I
Yeah.
personally feel that they need to be in this real world, in IT, in every situation. If you just get this idea, this clarity that impeccable people, everyone needs to be impeccable, capital I, impeccable, but impeccable people need to get out of their comfort zone. They need
Yeah.
to also be a bit uncomfortable in this imperfect world, and be in the position where they can influence some positive changes.
Yeah.
It
Very
is
critical.
very easy. It is very easy to just sit in isolation and just say, okay, yes, I am. What is this good for? What are you actually making? What changes you are actually making in this world? Yes, it is good that you are not negative, which is very profound. But what is more than just
Yeah.
being positive? The more is to be in a position where you can do something, you can influence some decisions.
All right.
I
Now,
personally do that. Yes.
now we've always got to connect things, right?
Yes.
Let's connect to the story.
Yeah.
Angels. Assume this person who you have diverged from is an angel,
Yes. Oh, yes.
and they've come back into your life, obviously for your benefit. What is it that they are trying to get you to learn and know and do?
Learn about they are actually just giving me an opportunity to reflect on myself and my own learning and growing first.
Oh, right. And and
Hmm. And also to accept that the changes will happen, and instead of resist, we need to follow it, and be with the flow.
and
And or okay, yes, I'm just trying to get more and more. And also that that our understanding, which was all good about them, is also contextual. Our understanding of people and things and perspectives, they
Mm,
are good till we get more. So at that time, what the perception I had of them was what might be accurate, but it was good at that time.
Mm.
Not anymore.
Mm. And what else are you being forced to do?
That people pleasing, adjusting, and not
Yes,
disconnecting
there's
from with
more
my
even.
more.
Yeah.
Yes, disconnecting with my moreness for other people to adjust them to make them feel comfortable. And they are just going to
Yes.
providing me opportunity that okay, you don't need to do this anymore. Learn to
Yes.
not do this anymore.
And what is it that you have to actually do by way of application? What are you going to force to actually do? Do. These are all things you can do on your own, right? In your mind, in your awareness. Yes, you have to do and apply it by way of attitude. But what do you have to do out in the real world with this person?
Not getting it, so maybe not in exact words, so please.
Well, this old friend is coming back, and essentially everything is inappropriate now. Right? And they want to have
Hmm.
a friendship that you don't want. Yes?
Yes.
Which means that you have to disconnect in some way, unconnect, change the nature of the relationship. Yes?
Yes.
That's what you have to do. Do. That's like specific actions that you have to take. Yeah?
Yes.
Wow. And then that's a wonderful gift from this angel.
Hmm.
Beena doesn't think it's that wonderful.
I'm just like okay, a bit lost here that I'm not exactly
well,
getting the
I mean, you're being forced to actually take some specific actions. You can't just go along in the normal way because there's this assumption of a resumption of friendship that you don't want. And the individual that you've been talking about, they are making every effort to carry on as if things were the way they were back years ago. Yes. And this is a deliberate manipulation to try and get things to be in a particular way, because the way the relationship was then, well, according to them, was very nice for them, but you in your naive innocence didn't see the consequences and the implications involved. Yeah, now that you do, you're saying, hey, wait a second, I'm not interested in some kind of hierarchical type of a relationship and all this, right? No, sorry, I got other things that are important to me. I don't want any part of this, right? So
yes.
now you have to disconnect from the friendship very deliberately, yes, and change the nature
Yes.
of it and make it clear, etc., right? So lots of things that are being asked of you, which are difficult, that are going to require a skill and awareness, capital D diplomacy, um, you know, um, uh, all sorts of complicated things. Yes. In other
Yes.
words, application is going to be involved in a very profound way. Yeah.
Hmm.
This is not a gift from an angel. So it's one thing to be
Yes.
aware of this, but to be able to apply it, to be able to do what is, apparently awkward and uncomfortable, but do it anyway, right? Because it's necessary, it's needed. You don't want to not do it because, well, it's awkward, and then you end up with a bigger problem, right? So it's about total deep sobriety, yes?
Hmm.
Mm. And it's going to be about strategy too, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know people who would just say, hey, get lost. I'm not interested in your nonsense.
Oh.
Right? But that's not you.
I was like, really? How can you do this to your friends?
Well,
Like they were
exactly.
choices.
Exactly. But But you could say, look, what you're doing is not nice. It's a manipulation. Sorry, I don't want to be manipulated. But capital diplomacy says, I don't have to say it is manipulation. I can say, look, I am feeling manipulated.
Mm,
The one is making a statement about them. The other is saying a truth about you.
mm,
And then you can go on and say, I don't like it. I don't care for it. And I really don't want to have this in my life where I'm interacting and I end up feeling manipulated. They can't argue with you, yeah, but I'm not manipulating you. Whether you are or not is irrelevant. That's how I'm feeling. Yeah? From a strategic, diplomatic point of view. Yeah.
mm.
Then you can add in there, say, look, I'm a totally different person to the person you remember. I know it's only been a couple of years, right? What, 3, 4, 5 years, something like that, right?
Yes.
But I'm saying
It,
in
it
this
was,
short
it was,
time, I'm a
it,
profoundly
no,
different person.
actually what happened is that they were part of my life 6, 7 years ago.
Hmm.
And then after that, it was a disconnect because
No,
they were busy and I was in
no,
isolation for
no.
uh, for like almost 2 years. And then after that, I got like completely different life, uh, which started from Facebook. So I got busy. So it was a brief introduction, like a interaction. They connect again via mutual friend, and then of course it was good. I try to enjoy that because maybe I was not that aware of these things before, and
No.
and then again something happened like after 2 years or something. This time again after 2 years almost, I came back, and it is this time. This time it's a very drastic change in my perspective of them.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
drastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it is, I was a bit overwhelmed by my own understanding of them because I don't want to. Uh, by default, I was just moving into that. Okay, I don't want their perception on me to change.
Yeah.
I want to keep it intact. I want to have that good feeling about them. And of course, it's not going to be
Ah,
bad. Or,
can you pause there?
yes,
I want to keep that good feeling of them. Now, connect this to what Cher was sharing with us,
yes.
right?
Mm,
Right. I'm not going to go into the whole topic. I'd rather have Cher come on and then we can go into it because it's a very, very powerful topic and one that's a whole session, a whole live just for that alone, if not more. Right?
yes, 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 yes,
But the
yes.
core of that is how we distort our reality or how reality can get distorted, whether it's deliberate or inadvertent, doesn't matter, because we give a primacy to our wants, right?
Mm,
It's like when you program a computer and you're saying this is the most important criteria, and you put out the things, and then the program tries to satisfy those criteria. If want is more important than truth, we can end up with a distorted reality.
mm.
Matter of fact, I'll add that to my quote file. That's a very good point there, don't you think?
Yes.
Nice quote. If want is more important than truth, we end up with distorted reality. or we can, I should say. Because, I rather even say it, we tend to end up. It all depends on the want. If, of course, we want truth, then it's a different things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why it's important to want truth. Yeah.
Yes.
Capital T truth. Yeah. Now we have to get sophisticated because we can't always know what the truth is. But to go into the moreness of it, which is part of our mandate here in this, that discussing nobility is part of the moreness project and this exquisiteness that we are after. Yeah. That we
Yes.
know that what we perceive as truth is typically temporary. It is our best, it is our essentially our best guess, our best calculation of what truth is. But still, it's our best. We know there's no guarantee it is truth, but in order to function, we have to take it as truth. But keeping that in awareness at all times is very critical, right? So we know that it might not stay true, but that doesn't mean that we don't treat it as true. But it also means we don't treat it as an absolute truth and therefore get stuck in it. It may last us our entire lifetimes. It may not. But we are safeguarding against getting stuck by understanding that truth is only as good as it lasts. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, very, very powerful. What a fabulous takeaway. Yes?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, you personally, on this topic, before we do some more reading, although we might not actually, this is good to just stick with this topic today. How are you going to deal with them?
This is what I was saying that in the beginning that in the past, my people pleaser would be like, okay, oh, would jump in and say, no, I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. But right now, it was a subtle irritation. I was feeling that, okay, I had to deal with this because, of course, I do respect them and I don't want to hurt anyone. So I
Yeah.
need to have capital D diplomacy, big time in play. But also that I don't want to be in a situation where I need to use capital D diplomacy even. This is something I want to just get free and feel free of it, where
Yeah.
I can do things without any hesitation. So my impeccability at least demands to me that, okay, if you really want to be uh, impeccable, learn more. So you can be in that position. You
Yeah.
don't need to use capital D diplomacy. Right now, I will use capital D diplomacy, even though my wish is to not use it and just be in
Yeah.
that state where I
Just
can
be
exude
straightforward.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, so then I don't need to do these things even. But right now, I will use capital D diplomacy and I will gradually just get back to, which is also a reality. I'm not going to state any false things or project any false image. I don't
Yeah.
have time right now in my life to spend with these type of things or activities like, okay, hanging
No.
out with friends. I do have time with whatever time I have. I'm spending with my friends, which I'm choosing. In the
No.
past, I secretly I was very much not liking myself for this ability to, once I disconnect, I just get disconnect with someone.
Mm.
I
Mm.
never actually try to end any relation, any friendship on a bad end. Like, okay, oh, I
No.
had some negative feeling. And whenever we interact, we get some interaction. I always just say, okay, yes. But when people, uh, from my emotional side, when I disconnect with them, I feel nothing about, like, no stress, no obligation to connect with them.
Mm.
Once it's done, it's done. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to accuse myself of being very,
Absolutes. Absolutes.
like Beena, you are a horrible person, because
Yeah.
once you get done, it's done for you.
Yeah.
Other people are not like you, but actually later on I realized that, because from the very first moment till the last moment, I just be myself. I give my
Mm.
100%. I never tried to deliberately, never tried to manipulate them. I never tried to just in any way. I tried to give any wrong impression. Deliberately, maybe when I'm not aware of it. Yes,
Yeah.
subconsciously, yes, I cannot eliminate those chances, but deliberately, I never did that. That's why my conscience is clear. Once your conscience is clear, then you feel no obligation, no stress, nothing. Once it's done, it's done, because
Yeah.
I have done my
No.
100%. My conscience is clear. Then what's the regret?
No.
Then what's the point of just clinging on?
That's
That's why,
impeccability. That's the benefits of
because
impeccability right there.
in many situation I have been there for my friends in all situation. I just keep doing,
Yeah.
even when something unpleasant happen or something. But once I see that, okay, now it is getting enough for me, and I have done everything with my at least deliberately, with my pure heart and mind, and my conscience is clear. I have no regrets. I have nothing to, like, okay, yes, I can do this more. No, if not, then it's done. And I don't feel anything to disconnect with them.
Oh.
No. And this is kind of feeling I'm having now about that person and my friends. And I'm like, okay, yes, it's done now. It's no use to connect with them,
Wow. Wow.
because I have spent every bit of energy into those things. So I have no attachments actually.
Right. Right. Uh, can you at least from a mourner's point of view, and let's assume, or let's give them maximum benefit of choice
Mm-hmm.
in this, that you say, look, I'm a different person. Go and look at my timeline. Come and listen to the lives. Yeah, the difference. I'm living in a completely different world and reality. Huh?
Hmm.
I'm saying to at least give them that choice, that option. Yeah. That
Hmm.
let's assume that they in a bubble and they say, "Wow, I was just doing what I thought you would want and expect because they treating you as if you're still the old. Wow, you really changed. Wow, this is really profound. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, I want to stay your friend means I got to change too. Me personally, I want to present that choice, that option.
Sorry.
It's okay, right?
Yes.
I want to give that choice, that option. Yeah. Does that make sense, Beena?
Yes, I will see and I will try my best.
And at the
Uh,
same time, there can be this communication. Basically, you sort of hedging your bets in a way, because you are telling them that you are different and you're providing the demonstration of it, which now makes them realize why their behavior is inappropriate. Yes. But it also gives them the choice to be appropriate, which is what you would rather prefer if you had it your way. Correct? You said you would like to stay friends with this person if possible, yes?
yes, but I don't feel any possibility now. That's the
Ah,
problem.
but that's just your belief that it's not so. Now that belief might be based on very real, sensible criteria, but still, you
That's
changed
true.
in a way which both you and this other person could not imagine. Why couldn't the same be so for them? My point is just from a pure conscience point of view, to have a free and clear conscience to say, hey, I will provide them the opportunity to change and be different. Yes,
Hmm.
you see,
Yes.
you open that door. If they don't want to step through the door, that's on them. That's fine. You can't force them, and it's, of course, it's a free choice. So there's no good or bad or right or wrong to it. It's, effort versus reward, etc. But at least you've provided that opportunity, and that's profound, is it not, Beena?
Yes. I will see at what cost it will come. And if it is something I'm willing to pay the price, I will do this.
Mm. Do you mean it in the sense that for them to grow, they'd have to do it via you, and you essentially then going to become entangled
I'm
in
just
this?
I'm just saying that I will see that at what price, what cost it will
Mm.
be for opening this door for him from my side. Uh,
Yeah,
Awareness, moreness is, of course, I feel that it's everyone's right.
yeah,
It's innately available to them. That's why it's a right for them to avail and access that.
well,
Uh, but maybe I don't want to be that door for them. They will
well,
have, of course, countless other options. I'm not sure because I will see at what cost. Right now, I feel my own self is not strong enough.
yeah,
I'm not strong enough because I need to work more on myself before getting out really in open and say that okay,
yeah,
yes, even
yeah,
in an
yeah.
imperfect world, I will still remain perfect. I have no confidence right now for this. I
Very
feel that
astute, very
I
sophisticated. Yeah,
need to keep my surrounding my surroundings intact with
yeah,
positive environment for my learning and growing.
yeah.
I don't want to challenge myself right now because I don't feel confident enough.
Wonderful.
It's like yes, a seedling coming and it is becoming a bit of more than just few inches.
Yeah,
Uh, that 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 small plant is not in position to get out into a storm.
yeah, yeah. Wow,
So that's
wow, wow. Very, 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 very sophisticated understanding. Very, very profound. Very mature. Very sober.
I, I am good. I
Very
am
real.
good. I'm doing a lot, but it doesn't mean that I'm strong enough to challenge
Yeah,
myself
yeah, yeah,
like this.
yeah. Well,
And
then, fine.
especially when my old self was connected. And now when because these are memories also. And once you get into this, it's very hard to get out of it very
Oh
easily.
yeah,
And
oh
people
yeah,
who
oh
know
yeah.
we use to manipulate you, getting
Yeah,
close to them, it is going to like they might suck you
exactly.
in.
Now, can you accomplish all of these these potential motivations and goals simultaneously? I think so. Well,
Mm,
you want to let them know you profoundly changed, correct? You want to let
yes,
them know that you, if they want to be your friend, they need to also profoundly change. Second goal.
yes,
Thirdly, that they're going to have to change on their own. Because
yes,
fourthly, you are currently still immersed in profound change. And there's no
yes,
space in your life, both in time and energy and intent, for extra. There's just no room for it, right?
yes, yes,
And so you can communicate all of this. Yeah.
yes.
Matter of fact, I would recommend making a post out of it
Mm,
that you pin to your timeline for a
mm.
while. So it doesn't only um, connect to this particular individual, but to others to whom the same might apply to varying degrees. Yeah. You
Yes,
refer them to this, they see it there, okay. Or you and wherever the connection is, or you send them the copy of this post. So there you go. Well, that way you're getting other.
yes. And when I was like, that's why I said that, okay, awareness has its own chaos for many reasons. One of the reasons behind that quote is you see with your own eyes, with your own awareness, the ideal or the idols you have in your past, like really big, beautiful, huge idols and ideals. You see them, you observe them with your own eyes and awareness, getting completely shattered, demolished, broken,
Hang
because
on, hang on. Say
that
that again. I missed the first part. What's getting broken?
I'm just saying that one of the many reasons of my own quote for myself that awareness has its own chaos uh, is that you see when you are in the learning and growing process, when you are deliberately choosing it with your own eyes, with your own awareness, you experience and observe and see the idols and the ideals you have in your past. You see them breaking, shattering, completely demolished, uh, because because those idols or ideals you have created, not in reality, they get completely, it's a with our ideas, our perspectives, especially which if it is connected to people, see them like, okay, oh, I was thinking them so much more. Like when I was like, we used to read books and other stories, and after some times when you read them and are like, oh my god, that was so profound at that time, and suddenly now it's like nursery rhymes for me. It's not about ego. It is something that it's not anymore. That's the problem. It's a
Changed. It's
1 year
changed.
process. Yes,
Right.
it's a
And
one
that's
year
what you need to
process.
communicate, that there's been profound, substantial change. Things aren't the
Yes,
same.
yes, yes.
They are looking to communicate and connect and interact as if things are still the same when they're not. Yes?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I think that okay, we have a good time now to
Yeah. Yeah. What a
to
beautiful communication. Now, the key is to go and work on this, laying it all out, and making a post out of it. Because that's where I said it covers not just this person, but others as well. right? That's the
Yes.
doing.
Yes.
That's the doing. Wow,
Yes.
fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Lindsay, any comments before we go? Oh, all right. We'll leave it there for today. In case you were listening,
Yes.
Tarsava, hello and goodbye. And anybody
Hello.
else who's listening,
Yes. Yes.
hello and goodbye.
We
Many,
haven't done
many listen
any
but don't
capital R
comment.
reading of this of the book of the story, but actually we did.
Exactly. It's all connected. It's all connected. Beena
Yes.
got an angel in her life that's pressing her to do, uh, to be comfortable doing that which is not so comfortable,
Yeah.
right? To deal with
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Gotta go and deal with that. Gotta go and deal with that. When you really get into it and you see a
Yes.
path forward, like now, the path forward is
Yes.
actually quite clear. And it's quite easy. And it's quite now you're motivated to do it because you have a clarity of intent. Yes, because now it's not anymore. It's now it's just a doing. Oh, absolute pleasure, Lindsay. Absolute deep pleasure. I love that you're here, Lindsay. I love that you're here. I love
Oh
that you say
yes. Oh
hello.
yes.
I know many
Yes.
listen and they don't say hello. But even if you're just listening, just I love it when you say, because it changes. And even if you just say hello, then you become part of what our conversation, right? Even if you don't say anything more, you're still a part of it. And for me, that's a big deal. Right? It makes a big difference. I feel you're included now. I'm not just interacting with Beena, I'm interacting with you as well, whoever you are,
Oh yes.
right?
Oh
When you
yes.
say
We'll
hello. Even if you say nothing,
have to
just a
share with you
hello
also.
makes a difference. Just a hello makes a difference. So absolute pleasure. It's a real joy, real joy. Brilliant. And I have your moreness as part of the energy because you're included directly now. I mean, I can't just include people if they aren't included. It doesn't work that way. It has to be real. But when you say hello, yeah, now I have Lindsay's moreness added to this, and the awareness of you being here, it adds it just brings more moreness into it. It's fantastic. All right. On that moreness point, we shall end, and we shall keep us surprised. We'll follow up on this to see what's come out of it, right? Because there always has to be action. Always has to be action. Brilliant, brilliant. All right. Until tomorrow, we shall see you. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. Too
Bye.
brilliant.
Bye for now.
Yeah. End meeting for all.